Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Healing and Dealing podcast. Today, I have an amazing guest to share with all of you that I'm just like beyond excited for you all to meet her. Her name is Melanie Esperan, and she was born and raised in San Diego, California. She tapped into her clairvoyancy at the early age of 6, but she remained quiet amongst the crowd. She eventually grew out of her Cancerian shell with the influence of her loving, close-knit family. In her 20s, she lived through a foreseen tragedy of her significant other passing away, where she was brought to a place of deep heartache and surrender. Melanie chose to rise with all of that she knew and began to train extensively under the wings of public figures such as Doreen Virtue of Hay House, Joy Guerrero of Angel Talk Cafe, and many more. She immersed herself wholeheartedly into her own inner child work to rediscover the gifts of prophetic intuition and angelic realm, Reiki energy, sound healing, Filipino and Hawaiian grounding practices, and more. She believes that true healing can only occur with a continuous work of understanding, letting go, and replenishing with the highest light. Melanie, welcome.
Yay! Thank you for having me, sis.
Oh my gosh, thank you for coming on. I'm so honored. I've been so blessed to be able to work with you one on one, and now I'm have my own thing going, and here you are with me, and it's the biggest honor for me. So thank you for coming on and sharing your light with my listeners. It's such a
Of
privilege for everyone to hear from you.
course, sis. Of course. It's what we do.
Yes. So I would love for everyone to, I mean, we talked about it in your bio a little bit, but like what really brought you to this place you're at right now in your life and what you do for a living?
Yeah. There was a lot of trauma in my background when I was a kid, and I faced like an adult trauma where I lost my significant other. He passed away. It was really, really traumatic. And I have a book that will come out later eventually that explains everything.
Awesome.
Um, and there was this awakening inside of me where I was like, something's off, something's missing. I keep hitting brick walls, whether it was with love or career. And I was like, and literally spirit or God or the universe, whatever you believe in, came to me and they're like, just be who you are already. And so I just, when you lose a lot of things all at once, you almost like
Yeah.
don't care about the outcome. You're like, all right, I got nothing to lose. Let's try it. Right. That's
I'll
where I
do
came.
anything.
Yeah. It's like, here we go. That's
Awesome.
where it started. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I met you through Anne, which is my daughter's boxing coach, boxing trainer, which is like so random.
Yep.
My daughter was training with her and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I just had a reading with this amazing woman and she's seen you a couple times." And I was like, "Okay, I need her info. I need to contact her
Yeah.
because I had a pull on myself. Like I had a strong pull right away that I needed to talk to you and meet you. And I think I got in like a week later because you had a cancellation or something. So it was just
Yeah.
perfect timing, And for me, right before I met you is when I went alcohol free.
Yep.
And so, like, all of these things were already changing for me internally. And I've been doing a lot of healing work the year before that. And when I met with you, it was like all of these light bulbs went off. And you told me so many beautiful things about myself that I already knew.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I needed to hear it from you, I guess, because my mom could have said it, my husband could have said it, but
Totally.
when it came from you, it was like, oh my gosh, like she says I'm incredible. She says I have all these beautiful characteristics about me that I have ready and waiting to offer to the world. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just so curious, and I really want my listeners to know, like, why do you think you're able to bring that up in people? What is that?
Really, though, that is the question, right? It's like, how am I able to see this? I think at a young age, I was born an old soul. Like, I swear I was born 100 years old, and not in the best way. More like just like grandma vibes, like doesn't want to do anything, just has her own conversations with older people. um,
Yeah.
it's a gift. Everyone has a gift. Like, as I listen to every single podcast you put out so far, like your husband has a gift to disarm the situation. Everyone loves him because he's non-judgmental. Like, he's just full of love.
Mm.
Like, you have this gift to soften people's hearts. And I love that you even recognize it. You're like, some people think I have like a RBF, a resting bitch face, and that's not me
Mm-hmm.
at all. And it's so true. It's like, yeah, it's so not her. She has such a big open heart. You're actually just a reflection of your husband. And I was born like this, and through my own traumas, um, it has helped me to soften in the way I deliver. I've never been
Mm,
this open. I mean, we're just forever evolving. And I think the answer truly is the more and more you get comfortable with the uncomfortable, or you start to love yourself or accept yourself, your gifts naturally come out, and they come out with love.
I love
So,
that.
yeah, it takes time.
Yeah, I'm realizing that, and the more I let go, the more is coming to me, and the more I was trying to control for so long, it was just not working out.
Oh man, yeah. That's the toughest part.
So how can someone like really surrender, and trust that the future has their back and the universe has their back?
Yeah, you can do it in a very positive way, because I used to think, oh, give up, do nothing. That's not really
Mm,
what surrender means to me now. It's more of do all that you possibly can as a human, and then you surrender the rest to spirit or to God or the higher ups, whatever you really believe in. It's kind of like saying, plan your wedding to the T, but if it rains, let it go.
yeah.
If it rains, it rains, and we dance in the rain. And what tends to happen is when you surrender that piece of you, spirit does their job and they make sure everything's perfect for you.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like that's so incredibly true too, because I've seen it happening. Like, for example, right after I met with you, you taught me about, my spirit guide team and, all these beautiful angels watching over me. And it was right, it was like December. I met with you in November. December came and I was like stressing about Christmas present money, and I was like, oh my God, like, how am I
Yeah.
going to buy all these kids presents? And I was driving to work and I was like, wait, Mel said to just talk to them and ask them. And I knew it
Yeah.
was like about money, but I was like, screw it. I'm just going to try because like I'm desperate. And I said a prayer and I was like, if you guys can hear me, like, please just help me figure this out. Let something come to me that will help solve this problem so I can give my kids a good Christmas.
Oh,
And I kid you not, I walked into my office and I had a check on my desk for $1,000.
oh
It
God.
was like minutes later, and I was like, holy crap, like, did that just happen?
Mad goosebumps, dude.
Yeah, I looked
Honestly.
at the director and I was like, thank you. Like,
Yeah,
thank you so much. I was so appreciative because I've never worked anywhere where someone would even do that anyway. So,
totally.
and not only did I feel appreciated, but I felt heard by my spirit team.
Yeah,
So it's like,
it brings me to tears when you say this, because that shit is so real. And
yeah.
people are like, I don't believe in that. I'm like, sucks for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're not
Yeah.
letting the miracle come. But you'll watch it through other people and start to soften. That really hits home for me, because I think that's how I've been able to survive my practice for this long,
Mm,
this lifestyle. It's like you can do your best, and it's like, God, deliver the people, please, because I know this is real within me and I can help people. I think that the importance of, because when you said, I know it was about money but I was desperate, it's not really about like feeling guilty to ask for things. It's more about, is the intention about the greater good? And it was, you're
right.
like, I want to
Right.
give my kids a Christmas. I ain't trying to ask for $1,000 to get my nails done. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? It's
Right.
like, it's a memory for the kids, and to
Yeah.
teach them that they can have anything. And if they sure served, man.
Right. Yeah. It was just validated it for me and it was evidence, and I was like, all right, cool. Like they hear me. And it just gave me kind of that momentum to continue talking to them and so what are spirit guides? What is a spirit team for anyone who doesn't know?
Yeah, their spirit guides in particular, that name is about, think of your best friend on this earth plane right now, and then you guys pass on, go back home to heaven, and you say, all right, I'm going back in for another lifetime, you want to come? And they're like, nah, I'm going to stay back. Those are your spirit guides on the other
Mm,
side. Those are best friends you've walked on this earth plane with many times. Then we have angels, right? And if you imagine them in your mind, wings or a halo, that's, to me, they're like bright light.
right.
We got gods, goddesses, ancestors, loved ones on the other side. So there's so many different compartments of beings on the other side, and as a whole, I would just call them your spirit team. And
Mm-hmm.
again, for some reason, God gave me this gift to be able to literally see them with my physical eyes in a way that doesn't scare me. And I'm able to kind of translate messages from them to you until you're ready to really realize that you can do it yourself.
Yeah. How would one start talking or hearing or like what's the difference between hearing, your spirit team or your intuition? Like how would
Yeah. There's such a logistical process, like the clairs that many people study. Clairs from
mm-hmm.
French to English mean clear window, clear door to spirit world. And I'm clairvoyant, I'm a seer, you're clairvoyant, you're claircognizant, you're clairsentient, a feeler, a seer, and a knower. That's the logistical part that we can literally practice with very world exercises.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this essence that I think was so important that you brought up, the surrender piece. It's like,
Excuse me.
bless you,
Thank you.
release. That surrender part that you brought up, that's the piece, because it's almost like when someone comes to me and they want to sit with me and hear about their future or their team, and then they go, I don't really believe in God. I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna work, because you have
That's
to be in a surrender of something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that I have a lot of listeners that believe in God, and
Mhm.
so I think that that's important to say. Like, thank you for saying that because I feel like some people get turned off by it because they don't
Mhm.
think it's a godly thing, but it truly is in the realm that you're in.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
very God-centered, heart-centered. And to me, God is, it used to be a figure, right? Because I grew up Catholic, still go to church, but it's more of like all of us. There's a God center in all of us, and we're all connected. So there's this surrendering to everyone is love to me in my eyes. And it's funny, I used to not think that. So I treated
Mm-hmm.
people with judgment. And now that I'm like, oh, dang, whatever hurts you hurts me, I better deliver this in a soft way where they can feel it and see it just like I do. It's just
Right.
being very cognizant of delivering a message and allowing people to show up where they feel comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when I'm meditating, I can definitely see a lot. I
Yeah.
I feel a lot on a daily basis for sure. So, and then sometimes, like lately, I've been getting actual visions, and I'm like, "Who is that? Like, show your
Yeah.
face." I can't see them completely when I'm like in a meditation. So,
Mhm.
is it just practicing or sharpening that skill of
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And the practice really is like, how do you practice being psychic? It's like, it's not so much practice, I guess. No, I gotta take back. It's more so like delayering yourself. And we'll talk about the inner child healing.
Mm,
When you start to delayer what the world has taught you that you realize isn't true for you anymore,
mm-hmm.
you start to come back home to the gifts that are already there.
Right.
That's what really happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've been delayering like crazy the last year or
Same.
so. And every time it's like an up level. It's like
Yeah.
you look back and you're like, wow, like I see it now. I see things differently. And I
Yeah.
have actually felt shifts as I've been delayering and kind of awakening and opening my mind to different things, which
Yep.
it's awesome.
Yeah,
But
same. I
sometimes I'm
don't think
like,
it'll
this
ever
is a
end.
lot.
Yeah, it's like, can we just put this on hold for 1 second? It gets really
Yeah.
overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I talked about that with one of my other mentors, Natalie, and I was just telling her like when I was going through her program how overwhelmed I was because I was like, "Oh, I'm seeing all this stuff about myself that I want to change and like my ego and all
Yeah.
these limiting beliefs." And I started to cry and get overwhelmed and she's like, "Just slow down.
Yeah.
Now that you're aware and you can see what's going on, like it's going to happen. It just takes time." As you
Yeah.
always say.
Yeah. Totally. It's like slow it down because I'm one to rush through or like be so fast paced so I don't have to feel it. And spirit's like, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't, you'll just keep going in a circle till you feel it. So slow down.
Yeah, and I feel like removing alcohol totally helped me feel everything,
Yeah. Your
because
last podcast was so good.
thank you. It
Yeah.
was so great to share that and like actually lay out the steps with everyone
Hmm.
because those were all, coaches and mentors that were placed in my life for at the perfect time. Like
Yeah.
2 years ago I would have been like, yeah, right, I'm not joining that or, but
Yeah.
it's all just divine timing for sure.
1,000%. And I love that you said, like, I don't necessarily don't drink. It's like, I just don't feel like it. Like,
Yeah.
I loved how you said that because you still have a choice, like, if you wanted to. And same thing with me, as I really stepped into this realm in my late 20s, like, full heartedly, and went through my own healing process. I haven't drank really. Like, if I
Hmm.
do drink, it's literally like one drink and it does nothing for me. It's more of like a social habit.
Yeah.
And you just, I think when you become more and more at peace with yourself, you don't need the extras.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, right on time. It's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, it had to be that way. It has to be, you know, I just don't want to. I can anytime I want, but
Yeah.
things are too good
Yeah.
to ever try to lower my vibration again. Like, why would I want to do that? I
Absolutely.
just don't. I mean,
Yep.
unless I'm really stressed out, I'm like, these kids, like,
Give me drink. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I'm like, whoa, wait, like, change that thought. You have other things you can do. You can, go for a walk, do some deep breathing, ask your husband to take over for a little bit. So there are other ways, other things we can do besides just grab that drink.
Totally, totally. And I've noticed a pattern in this industry as healers because we feel so deeply, we see so deeply. We typically, when I become friends with other healers, we always have some sort of addictive problem, whether it's with
Mm,
drinks or drugs or food or outer validation, because we're trying to mask ourselves for so
yes,
long. And I
that's
used
so
all
true.
those things as masking to really not see myself. And the moment I realized, okay, I need to honor my sensitivities and realized it was a gift to this world, those outer things that we use to mask tend to just fall away naturally. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I think I was afraid to just be myself for so many years. That
Same.
makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And it's like you've said, being comfortable in the uncomfortable.
It's
It's
rough,
like,
right?
ugh, like
Yeah.
getting used to that. It's like a muscle, you got to use it. And like,
Love that you said that. Yeah. You got to
yeah,
exercise it.
that's how it's felt for me. I'm like, okay, even, we were at that event last night and I'm around all these wonderful, powerful women who just have the best energy. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to embody this. That was my
Yeah.
word on my cup. We did a
I
cacao
saw
ceremony.
on
We did
social
a
media. I'm like, of course it was. Yeah.
Yes, and it's so funny because that's exactly what, this little phase that I'm in right now is like really embodying being a podcaster and sharing my voice with people. And when I got my cup and I looked at my word, I was like, of course it's embodiment. Like, thank you,
Totally.
universe. So,
Confirmed.
yeah, it was awesome. But just being in that space and feeling like I'm one of them and I don't have to feel awkward or uncomfortable, I actually felt really amazing, which was
Me
great.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I
was
usually am
beautiful.
a bit exhausted after events, just in general. That one, I stayed up really late. I was really excited because I wrote it in my social media post this morning. I put, thank you for allowing me to belong. I,
Mm,
and I've been doing this work for 20 plus years, like honestly, like it professionally. And I'm like, God, I finally feel like I have a crew now.
I love that. I feel the
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
So I really want to get into a little bit of inner child healing. It was really transformational for me, and I just really want my listeners to understand what it is because I feel like it's kind of being blasted everywhere right now on social media, and everyone's like inner child healing, but it's like, what is that, and why would we even want to do it? You know?
Totally. Yeah, that's what I would think if I wasn't aware. I'd be like,
Right.
what is that bullshit over there?
Exactly.
Um, and I think you're more of the pro than me, to be honest, because you work with Erin directly.
Mm,
But our friend Erin is a inner child specialist, I would say. It's really, if you just imagine, if you're a female, the little girl inside of you, that younger version of you, or if you're a male, that younger boy inside of you, and it's like, what was that little girl taught when she was little? And what is she holding on to? Because your adult self can be so separated. You have created survival techniques. You learn how to grow up and mature and live your life as an adult. But you reach an age where you're like, pieces of me inside of me are still holding on to things, and I don't understand why. Right? It's like
right.
whispers within you. You're like, why am I afraid to do that? Even though my adult mind says I can totally do that. Like even
Mm-hmm.
with you, like accepting money, you asked for money, you received it. I'm sure a piece of you was like, is this for real? Like
Mm-hmm.
that little
Yeah.
girl inside of you, like we never get money like this, right? So it's that old belief system in you that is your little girl. And the best way that I can explain it is I want you to imagine a memory of you when you were little, where you were hurt or not seen, whatever wounding there was. And you've got to, when we go through practices like subconscious healing or NLP, like neuro linguistic programming, that really means to go back into your system and rewire things, right?
Yeah.
I imagine myself when I have a hard time as an adult. I'm like, why is this showing up like this? Why is my body shaking? I'll
Mm-hmm.
go into my memory or in my mind, like a daydream, and I'll hold that little girl inside of me, like a newborn baby, as if she was crying, and I'll hold her and rock her. And the number one answer from me is if you can start to love on her and give her that attention she needs in those moments, she doesn't have to cry anymore. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like literally,
Yeah.
if you literally had a newborn baby and she was crying, would you pick her up or ignore her? For many
Mm-hmm.
years, we've ignored. And now it's like, can you freaking pick her up for a second and just like love on her for a second? So even before this episode, I was like meditating and praying, and I have a picture of myself as a little girl with my grandma in my closet. That's where I get changed and all that. And I look at my grandma and my little girl self. I'm like, "Yo, we're safe now. Let's
Mm,
do today." And
yeah.
it works for me. Do you have any personal exercises?
Yes, mine is the same thing, safety. And it's always, I'm always hugging her. I'm always telling her, you're so safe. And
Yeah.
like, I got you. And you don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to be scared. And it's just the best feeling. It's
Yeah.
like, it's what I've learned reparenting myself, and like making sure that she knows all of this is really bad right now, but it's going to get so much better. Don't
Totally.
worry. And
Totally.
that, I mean, now when I, just like you, when I'm in those situations where I'm like, is this Charlotte, like logical, smart,
Mhm.
that has the wisdom, or is this that little girl who's afraid and,
Yeah.
scared to really do something? So
Yep.
I have to really think about it sometimes
Same.
because of those, like you said, those belief patterns that we have from when we were little. And that
Yeah.
scarcity mindset, that is a big one for me because I mean, when we grew up, the lights were shut off all the time. Like we had food, but there
We
was
barely scraped by, right? It
we were
was one of
scraping
those.
by. Yeah.
Mm.
And there
Yeah.
there were some days where I would come home and my mom was having a yard sale and like my bed would be in the parking lot
Yep.
or my
Yep.
stereo. I'm like, "Mom, that's my stuff." Like
Been
she's
there,
like,
done
"Well,
that,
I got to
girl.
pay the bills. I'm sorry. Like we'll get you more later." So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that's where my money mindset came from.
Yeah. Builds
So,
character though. It
oh my
really
gosh, it
does.
does.
Because you and your husband were discussing like, were the kids smarter back then? Because we knew how to like obey, right? And I was like,
Yes,
we didn't have a choice. Like if
right.
we didn't obey, you didn't eat. Like if you didn't want this food, we didn't have money to go get other food. It was like you better eat or you're gonna starve. Like
Yeah.
that was how I was brought up. They're like, you don't want it? Okay, you're going to bed hungry.
You know what?
We
It's
didn't
so
have a
funny.
choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was years back. I think Blue was a baby and our lights got shut off, right? Me and
Oh
Henry. And it
shoot.
was like some kind of mix up with paying the bill or something, but we
Did
had
that
so
trigger
we
you?
had so much fun. No, it was
Oh,
like so I had been thinking for a long time, like, I wish like some bad stuff would happen so our kids would know what it's like.
I
Because they grow
see.
up like so entitled and like they have whatever they want. We try to anyway. We try to like really give them what we didn't have. So I was like,
Yeah.
they're never gonna know like the struggle. They're never
Totally.
gonna know what it's like. So when the light shut off, I was like, see, this is what it's like. Go try to take a shower or like light some candles and we
Yeah.
ended up having a blast. We all were in the living room and like wrestling and like telling stories.
Yeah.
So we made the
Oh,
best of it, but it was kind of cool to have that experience with them because they were like, this is what it's like no lights.
yeah.
They were like, this is cool. I wish it would happen
Yeah.
more.
You're like, y'all, because y'all know you're safe. You know they're coming back, huh? Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
But isn't that your husband's so funny? He posted something recently on social media and I shared it with
Mm-hmm.
my sister because me and my sister spoil our kids. Like, because
Yeah.
we didn't have much. And so if you got the means, we're gonna spoil the kids. Like,
Uh-huh. Right.
right. And so your husband posted something like it was a meme and he goes, hey man, we fucked up. And the bottom said, when you didn't have much as a kid, but you spoiled your kids. And it's like, man. And I said to my sister, she goes, that's us. I'm like, oh man, what did we do?
I know. I know.
We
I feel
can't
like
help
it's like
it.
our generation went through
Yep.
so much and now it's just turning all these kids into entitled brats, but it's like how can we not, like we're trying to make it balanced, but at the same time the damage is done.
No, your kids are great. I mean, the older ones that I've read or sat with,
Yeah.
they're humble. Oh man, they understand what they got for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I feel like they do. I feel like they have enough of me and their dad in them to
Yep.
keep it humble.
Yeah, you're like, don't brag about that. All right. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, let's see. Gosh, Henry. It was so cool having him on the podcast.
Yeah.
I can't he liked the episode. He was so afraid that he was
It
going to
was
sound
good.
weird and you know what's crazy, Mel? When we
Mm.
were recording, it took us a lot of takes because he kept breaking down. He kept he was like really in it. He was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me. He was feeling it in his
It's
body.
healing,
And I
huh?
was like, this is so beautiful. Like, I haven't seen you cry over your mom or because it was every time he talked about his mom, he was
Yeah.
getting emotional. And then he got emotional talking about when he had Nico and how it was basically it released him from that gang life. And
Yep.
he wanted that like internally and subconsciously.
Yeah.
He wanted to get away from that, and that was his way out. So that guy
Totally.
was like, he was feeling all the feels during that
Oh yeah.
podcast.
You do that to people though. You're a healer. Like even when I first sat with you, I was like, who are you? I was like, you're really big here. And you're like, what are you talking about? And I was like,
Right.
you have this, your gift is this capacity to really hold the space. When you see people crying and breaking down around you, that means you're a real healer. Because
Wow.
you're coming in like, here's a warm hug. What you got for me? And to
Mm,
break down a man like that, who's such a man too, and who's faced struggle just like you, and but to cry, damn, that comes to show how much love y'all got.
yeah.
To really break down like that, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm excited to have him back on. We really want to talk about obviously like blending families
Yeah.
and what we've been through, but also just like him being a father, learning to be a father on his own with no one to look up to, his whole life. I don't feel like that's talked about enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yep, him for sure. And then, but the real gold part is you standing by that the whole time. I want to like hear your story of like what made you just say yes. Because when I was married, I had young stepkids. I was 25 like you, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing? I could easily marry someone else with no kids."
right,
You know? And I
right.
was like, and his youngest was 1. I mean, she was just born. I was like, "Are you still with the baby mama?" You know what I mean? I was like, "She's a kid." And that I want to hear that because that's going to help my inner child like understand what the heck I was doing at 25 as well.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It's
I don't
built in
even,
though, right? Your heart's just
yeah.
big, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely the way I was born. And I
Oh,
said
yeah.
I think it was the first episode, like that I always felt something like kind of different about me, And I didn't know what it was for so many years. And I didn't know if I was going to be a singer because I really wanted to be a singer for years and like share that with the world, but I was always so shy.
Yeah.
I had opportunities, but I'd be like, oh, I'm too scared. Those limiting beliefs were holding me back from singing big time. But I always felt like something was special in me, right? And I know it has to do with having this big heart and just being able to hold space for people and give
Yeah.
people that love that be like you
For
taught
your
me like
voice.
yeah, we're mirrors of each other. So when I love them, they're loving me back. And that's what
Yeah.
I need too. So it's like
Yeah.
this beautiful circle of love.
Oh man, it really is. I hope you get to exercise that sometime. Because I wanted to be a singer too, and you'll hear a podcast coming out in a couple of weeks. I was interviewed by my friend Lauren, and she said the same thing. And I was like,
What?
well, who are we? Who are we singers?
We need to start a
Um,
band.
yeah, it's like, what the heck? And I bet we're all really, really good too. But you know, it's funny. I read a lot of, I would say 90% of my clientele is pop stars, like singers, actors. And I'm like, isn't that funny? I still attract in like pieces of me,
Mm,
like really good singers, like, the ones who are known. And I'm like,
yeah,
of course I would be serving them. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, you'll
What
never escape who you are.
what is that like reading like celebrities? That's so crazy.
Man.
Are you more nervous with them than like someone like me? You're like, I better say
No,
the right
not
thing.
now, but I used to be. Oh, 1,000%. I would
I'm
like
sure.
sweat. Because I'd be in person because back before 2020 hit, I was just always in person. And so I
Okay.
would have to truly prepare my body. And I was doing like 5 to 8 sessions a day. So like I'm like my body's in this preparation mode, releasing mode 24/7. And they would always come in with like an alias because their assistants would book their sessions and I would have
Okay.
to sign NDAs. So it wasn't like I knew exactly who was coming in. So
Oh,
my
wow.
gift was really being tested. Like this person looks like this. And I'm like, oh, I bet it's Drake. Do you know what I mean? Like that type of energy. And when they walk through the
Yes.
door, I'd first faint. I'd be like, okay, like seriously, right? Like I'm a big fan, right? And it took me some like 2 years to be like, no, they don't want that fangirl in you. And I'm like, I
Right.
can't help it. And so I would just be myself. Whether they walk through the door, I would sing their song. Um, I
Oh
just
my
would be
gosh, I'm
myself. And they
dying.
thought it was funny though. Like I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to kiss your ass. I just adore you.
Yeah.
Um, and then as you know, it's kind of like when you start doing certain things over and over, it's not getting jaded, but you realize
Mm.
they're just human.
Yeah.
They're just human. And so
Mhm.
now it's totally different. The vibration is like, what up, girl? Like,
Yeah.
but oh yeah, fangirled all day, like 2 years straight. I would like call my sister right after. Like, I'm like, you can't tell anyone, but blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and you can't ask for a picture, you know?
Right, right. Oh my gosh, I'm laughing so hard right
It's
now.
true. I'm
I can
like,
just
if anyone
picture
says
it.
they were calm and collected, I'm like, you're lying, fool. Like, that's insane.
I can just picture it. That's so funny.
Mhm.
How about when you worked for, I don't know if you can even talk about it, the FBI?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty
Yeah.
crazy too.
Yeah.
How was that
Yeah. I can probably talk
experience?
about it now more because I don't, but that was an interesting phase in my life. I'm sure with you too, if we went like year by year, we'd be like, what? Like you did what? Um, that was cool. It sounds cooler than it was though. I
Okay.
mean, like the outcome was neat.
Yeah.
Um, I can tell your throat is coming up. You're just releasing. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's
Yeah.
really happening. And I'm wearing blue, of course, for your daughter's name, but also our throat chakra.
Thank you.
Um, yeah. Last night I was doing the same. I was coughing. I'm like, why am I doing this? They're like, you're releasing. I'm like, okay. Spirit makes it all lovely, and we're like, this is not fun.
Uh-huh.
um,
Yes.
yeah, working for the FBI, government's tough to work for in general.
Oh, I'm
They want
sure.
certain things a certain way. When you give information to the FBI, especially the way I do it through my clairvoyant eye, it never can be utilized in the court of law, right? Like, so,
Really? I
but
didn't know that.
yeah, it will not stand. So I couldn't like be on the stand and be like, this is what I see, right? It's
Okay.
considered opinion, but
Gotcha.
the trick was to give the information as much as I could to the agents and the people
Yeah.
working the case, and it would lead them to things they would never find. So fun. I was more in the
That's
back end though,
cool.
like putting out the fire with cases, more of like, I would say special victims, like, you
Mm,
know, rape, molestation, that type of energy.
yeah.
It wasn't like find the murderer. It was never that.
Mm-hmm.
I do know psychics who do that though. And then when I came into my late 20s and spirits like do it your way, they're like go into the prevention side, meaning tell them their future so you can help them like walk a path that they can skip over certain things if they don't need to learn those routes, those bad routes maybe. And I'm like, all right, that's way better.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Let's be
love
in the
that.
front end.
Yeah. The
Less
actual
draining.
some prevention in there, right?
Less draining. Yeah. Then like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry you lost your husband. Or your daughter. Let's talk about it. Like that's rough.
Oh yeah. That's a hard job.
Mhm.
And what's funny is I've thought about doing that job and then I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you'd be good at it. Oh
Yeah.
man.
You know what I really want to do? Like lately I've been really dreaming up this like beautiful support group for family of addicts, like an online community. And I feel like it's going to happen very soon. I feel like
Yeah. I trust you on that one.
yeah, I feel like it's needed and
Yeah.
we need to be talking to each other, people who are going through, you know, they
Absolutely.
a family member who's in a full-blown addiction and like how to cope with that, you know.
I would be there every single day. Like for me, for healing purposes. 'Cause my dad, he was an addict and died. Like, and that really stepped me into my direction of wanting to help people.
Mm,
That I could see you doing so many things, like people who have almost like disabilities they can't control, like not in a way of like autism, but more of like
mm-hmm.
they were in war and they lost a leg. How do I cope with this? Like trying to
Right.
still be human, like that stuff. I could totally see you leading stuff like that.
Well, right now, I that's what I do. All my clients are, you know,
Oh,
physically or mentally disabled, and a lot of them have cerebral palsy. They
I didn't
can't
know that.
walk. Yeah, that's
Oh,
I'm doing it.
whoa. I
So
thought you were
you're
a social worker for like kids and stuff. No?
nope, they're all adults. Yeah, so I case
Oh,
manage.
that's
Yeah.
you're a badass. Okay, so everything I'm seeing you're already doing. Doing
Uh-huh.
it right now.
I'm like, okay, yes, I'm ahead of the
Got
game a
it.
little bit.
Wow, that must be so rewarding.
It is. I have, you know, it's been almost a year, so I'm really developing relationships with all of them and I threw a birthday party for one of them who turned 33. He loves the Padres and sports, and I got him, Padres cupcakes and balloons, and I invited staff, and I'm just
You are
trying to make
changing
make their life
lives.
special, and like feel some sort of like how everyone else feels on their
Like belong.
birthday. Yeah, it was
That's
cool.
so you're getting a free pass into heaven. I say that to people who are just like, you're an earth angel, man. Like you got VIP access to the other side.
Well, that's
Wow.
good. It
Yeah, it's
just
good to
it,
know.
it just comes over me. I'm like, I'm gonna throw him a party. I'm gonna do this, and then I start feeling this rush, and it just feels so good. Like you just want to like keep feeding it, and make him feel good. That
That's why I know
reminds
you're gonna be
me.
successful in this world, like in this work too.
Thank
Because
you.
it's just a feeling. You're just like, it makes me feel good to give. It's not about making money. It's about,
Right.
it's just who I am. And that's why, it's not this, the work that you're doing right now is not what you do. It's who you are. That's why it's going to last forever.
I love that. I
Yeah.
I truly feel that. I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's part of the reason why I took, custody of my niece and nephew, because
Yep.
it's just part of who I am. I cannot
Yeah.
imagine saying no to that.
Same.
And we
I
have that
cried
in
when you said that.
common.
Yeah. We
I
really
mean,
do.
yeah.
Because I just did that like last year with my nieces. Took well, nieces through law, right? It's like my brother-in-law's nieces. And
Mhm.
we took them in, me and my sister as co-parents, basically, legally. And it was like, I'm not letting them go into the system like that. Like,
Right.
there's no way. Like,
Right.
we are fully capable and we love these girls. We're gonna fight every inch. And it's crazy. They don't even know. Like
Mm.
these kids don't know, but they're appreciative later. And when I heard you and Henry say that, I was like, no wonder I love them. Like there's more to your story that I didn't know. We have the same kind of heart.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you say that later they'll appreciate it because we
Yeah.
struggled with that with our niece and nephew, and like they left, they didn't even say thank you. They're just like,
Yeah.
peace
You're
out.
like,
I'm like, I just spent 8 years raising you. Like, can I get some love or like a
yeah,
hug or a
yeah,
conversation, a goodbye? But it was like they still had so much healing to do for themselves to even begin to like show me any type
yeah.
of gratitude. And I didn't do it to feel gratitude from them, of
Right,
course,
right.
but I'm hoping at some point they
They
come
will feel
to
that.
a point in their life where they're like, wow, like Charlotte literally raised me for 8 years.
Oh, they will.
I hope
For sure.
so. I'm like waiting for it. And it still like lingers inside of me. Like
You're
that.
like, yo, I changed your life. Like for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the girls that we adopted, our daughters. It's like, do you understand what we're really doing? But
Mm.
I told my sister, I'm like, they'll get it when they're like 25, 30. Like that's when I started like thanking my parents. I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you for not letting me like, I don't know, spend a night at the girl's house. I was definitely not gonna do that. I was gonna go sneak out with a boy at 14. Do you know what I mean? Like, thank you for
Right.
actually being like a parent so that I didn't make
Yeah.
bad choices, right? That
Yeah.
they'll get it when they're older, especially when they become parents, girl, please.
Yeah.
And
That's
you'll be like,
true.
yeah, girl, I got you. Like it'll just be like that type of energy. Like that's all we could have done. Like there's no way we would see you with another family over there.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
weird. Like,
You
no
know,
way.
my 16-year-old son wants to come on the podcast, which I'm really excited about, but I've been having all these thoughts about because his story and his experience in this blended family is being the youngest one, and he I know he felt so much, so he's going to come out and he's going to say things that I might feel in my body like, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
do I need to defend myself right now? So I've been reflecting the last couple days about how I'm going to react in those moments.
Totally.
And it's like a mirror of me and my mom. So when I say things about my mom on this podcast, her feeling defensive, I know I don't want to act like that. So I'm
Yeah.
really trying to like understand his personal experience and honor that. And
Mm.
whatever he says, what happened is what happened for him. And as
Yeah.
long as he knows, I did my best, son, and I love you. And I loved you throughout all those years. And maybe I wasn't perfect. I know I wasn't, but that's something I'm just like really thinking about right now because he's
Yeah.
gonna come on soon. He's like really ready and waiting, like, oh my
He's
God,
like, let me talk. Right?
yes. I'm
Oh
excited though.
man.
I can't wait. I feel like it's gonna be really healing for me and for him.
Yeah, I can't wait to listen because what you're doing here is what I would do if I had your situation. I'd be like, I want to hear everything. I was trying to, I had a podcast before and I was trying to get my mom on and
Mm.
she was down to do it. And I was like, am I ready? Like I had the same, like, wait a second, what the fuck did I do? Like,
Yes, that's
am I
exactly how
going to
I
react?
feel.
Yeah. Knowing the dynamics of your family energetically, I know it's going to be a beautiful session. But you can also show up as the podcaster Charlotte, right? The
Right.
healer Charlotte in that moment, like holding the space, and then later you can digest it while listening back. That might be
Yes,
smarter for you to do.
definitely.
Or allow us to see your triggers. I don't know. I think the more raw, the better, but that's up to you how
Yeah.
you feel comfortable.
Yeah, I was thinking like I'm thinking about that. Like I want to be, the healer podcaster Charlotte, but if something comes up, I don't want to be afraid to say, man, like,
I didn't know that, right?
yeah, I didn't know that, like let me like validate that for you. So
Yeah.
I want to be able to be in the moment with him too.
Oh yeah, this is good.
It's gonna be good, girl. I'm excited.
It's like, oh, put a fire emoji right there, like fire.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
how healing that is. He's already healed when he's ready to talk. Does that make
Mm,
sense?
yes, that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
I really want to see your mama up on here.
Oh
That's
my
when you know
gosh.
you're doing
She,
good.
yeah, that'll take some time, but we're working on it.
Evolution is real, guys.
Yeah, she really does have a beautiful, inspiring story, and like
Yes.
you said, so much life to live. And for her to go from living, that life she was living before to changing everything and
Yeah.
quitting like this drug that gets a hold of you, it's like the devil, in my opinion.
Yep. Yep.
Meth, I hate it with
Yep.
a passion. And she
Yep.
was able to quit that and
Yeah.
turn her
That's
whole
a
life
miracle, man.
around. It is
Yep.
truly a miracle because I have friends that message me after I released that episode and they're like, my mom's still on drugs and I'm
Yep.
38. Like I'm so proud of your mom. I'm so happy for you. And like
Yeah.
she could easily be that and she chose a different path. So I want to
100%.
honor her for that.
Yeah. I hope
She's
she knows she's beautiful. I try to convey that too in her reading. And
mm,
it's crazy because my daughter's their mom, biological mom, who's down the street, has the meth problem
wow.
14 plus years. And I'm like, sister, you gotta get help. I don't want to take your kids from you. Like I know that drug very well. And I'm
Okay.
like, I hate you, meth. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Because damn it, it's like the cheapest heroin. That's really what meth is. It's the cheapest heroin you could find. And
Yeah.
heroin's really hard to beat, man.
Right. I feel like heroin these days is a death sentence,
It is. It is.
unfortunately. And I
Yeah.
just had a friend's mom on. We just recorded a session because she lost her son to overdosing on fentanyl. So it's in a lot of the conversation, that it's going to be on the podcast a lot, just people dealing with addiction and how they've gotten through it or family members. So, because it's
Yeah.
been such a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my brother followed suit with my mom, and meth has just, I've seen it destroy people's lives right in front of me. So,
Same.
yeah, I hate that
Same.
stuff.
Yep. Yep.
And
Well, it's now's the time to look at it in the face and love it, right? That inner child work. Because all
mm,
drugs are a mask. It's like, what's behind that shit?
right.
Yeah.
That's what I told my brother when he was about to be released recently. I said, the one thing that I want from you is to get into counseling because
Yep.
he's never looked at why he's doing drugs.
Yep.
And
Send them my way.
I'm like,
Let me
get
break
him
them.
some therapy. I'm going to introduce you to some people. And he's like, okay, okay, I'll do it.
Hell
But
yeah.
that you're right. That's all these drugs are. It's just masking these deep things underneath that they don't want to face.
Yep.
And
And
I
you know what
get,
you're gonna realize? Your brother's a healer.
oh my gosh, I already know he is.
Yeah.
I
It's like you get
seriously,
to watch him realize that. You're like, you masked it because you felt so much.
right. Yeah,
Oh man.
he's a very special individual as well. And when he's clean and doing amazing, he just can help anyone around him and build
Yeah.
people up and motivate them. Like he's gonna do great things once he snaps out of this and like gets the
Yeah.
really does the inner work.
Yep. 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 I feel like the best healers are the ones who get addicted. I mean, my
Mm,
dad was the biggest healer, but he died because of cocaine. And I'm like, because he was so psychic. Like, it's
wow.
crazy when you discover that. You're like, oh shit, he was just like too much too soon, you know?
Wow.
So your brother's the same, Henry's the same. Not that Henry did drugs, your husband, but
Yeah.
he was masking it with other things too.
Right.
It's just like y'all are healers. That's it. And I respect you deeply for that.
I respect you too so much. The last thing I wanted to talk about with you, which I feel like everyone needs to hear, is this energy of 2023 and how you explain it, because I freaking feel it. Everything that you talk about this year has like it's been my life so far, this first 6 months, and now it's like taking
Yeah.
off. So let's hear
Yeah.
it.
So the download came January 3rd of 2023 when I did an event with other healers, and we all had the same message, different styles. And Spirit said to us, this year is a powerful year. Everyone's truly going to learn what the divine feminine is and the divine masculine really is. And I go, okay, what is the divine feminine in your vocab? And Spirit was like, it's when you get to sit on your throne as the king or queen, and you take a look at your empire and you ask yourself, what's no longer serving this kingdom? And it's really the first January to June of this year, 2023, has been purge. Whether you know it or not, consciously or not, you've been letting go of things. People have been exiting your life. Situations have been exiting. Jobs have been being replaced. It's like, oof, it's a lot of clean house. We're
Mm.
coming into July soon. Even today is a little warmer. I'm like, oh, we're stepping in.
Mm-hmm.
You right? I was like,
Yep.
I'm wearing a tank top now. Like, what is happening?
Yes.
July moving forward till the end of this year of 2023 is about masculine. And that's the energy of driving, doing things, taking grounded action. It doesn't mean move too fast. It just means everything we've been thinking about is now going to be put to embodiment, which was what, your message yesterday personally. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte's right on time, right? My message was on my cup, it said intuition. And I was like, of course, like trust your gut, right? Like trust what you're hearing is true. Now,
Yes.
my question to Spirit when I heard this, though, I was like, oh, that's beautiful. The beautiful balance of yin and yang. But
Right.
I was like, aren't we supposed to be both at the same time? They're like, of course you are. That's the goal. But a lot of people are going to see the contrast now, meaning people who are not conscious, they're going to get awakened by this eruption in the earth plane. Now, there's a lot of things that are going to happen in this earth plane to push that open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which we don't need to look at right now. But there, even in astrology forecasting, we have a 20-year movement on this earth plane in the collective. The healers who are coming out of their shells, like you, out loud anyway, because you've been a healer, you're a social worker. I mean, you've been a healer, right, professionally.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like those who are really coming out with their personal gifts are going to help shift this movement
Right.
from not being seen to being seen, from not being heard to being heard, with a lot of hints of grace. And
Mm.
economic systems, political systems, medical systems, school systems are changing in the next 20 years. I would say in the next 24 months will be the most potent that we're going to see as humans. And our job as healers is to hold the space and guide people with understanding eyes.
Right.
It's like, yo, you're human too. I'm human, but there's a better way to move. It was like 2020. A lot of people crumbled, right? They're
Mm.
like, I'm an extrovert. I need to see people. And it made them look at themselves, right?
Mm.
It's like, no, you got to
Yes.
stay home. You got to look at yourself. And for us introverts, because to me, I'm an introvert, but on stage,
Yeah.
I'm an extrovert, right? I
Right.
have to be. But I was like chilling. I was like,
I
if you
liked
ask
it
me to stay
too.
home another day, I'm gonna clap. Like,
I actually really liked it too. Yeah, I was
and
not
it's like,
bothered.
okay, we're conscious. Okay, how do we help though? Right? We all have jobs to do, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
heal ourselves or help heal someone else. So
Yeah.
that's what we're facing again. When 2020 hit, I knew there would be aftershocks, and here comes another one.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's skills we're all developing personally that are preparing us. That's what's happening.
Beautiful. I feel like I'm becoming prepared.
Same. I'm like, when does it stop? They're like, it doesn't. Like, stop asking that question.
That's so funny. I love your like internal conversations like that. They crack me up.
Yeah. Oh
Oh,
man.
Mel, I'm so happy that you came on. That was such a beautiful conversation. Can't wait to have you back, of course.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to go check out Reiki Room SD on Instagram. And also your sister, I have to go get a facial, like ASAP. I heard
Yeah.
last night that they're not only just a facial, it's like a whole experience.
Go. Yeah.
Okay.
When is your birthday again? When is it?
Next month.
I'll get you a birthday gift. I'll get you a gift card. You need to go.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, what is this? She sounds like just a facial girl, and that's enough. And when she dove into that work, and she worked on me, I'm like, who are you? And so I helped her open her business. It's only been open 3 years.
Oh man.
She's crazy. She's a healer with her hands. Like the way you hear me channel, she does it with her hands. You're
Wow.
like, I see her every week. She's on my payroll. Like it's stupid. Like I pay
Wow.
my sister a really nice chunk of money to see her weekly. I
That's
mean, most people go monthly, but I'm like every Tuesday. Every Tuesday. It's like,
that's awesome. Heck yeah. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
yeah, I got you,
I've
girl.
been wanting to check it out, and then after meeting her and hearing from other ladies there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make an appointment.
You're
So
like
thank you.
sold. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So
Anywhere
happy early
else?
birthday.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's like the best present I'm gonna get probably. So thank you.
Got you, girl. Got you.
Anywhere else people can find you? I think
ReikiRoomSanDiego.com, and that's where everything is, sessions,
oh yeah.
trainings. I'm mostly virtual. Sometimes I do events, podcasting, all that stuff. Um, yeah, and Instagram at Reiki Room SD. That's where you can see all the live updates and get to know me and the community.
And are you accepting bookings, like one-on-one sessions with people right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Always, always.
Okay, cool. Yeah, anyone listening, if you want to ignite some change and fire in you, Mel is your girl.
Thank you.
Seriously. Change. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for you.
Nah, that's all you, boo.
I don't know.
That's
I
all
feel like
you.
I would maybe in like 3 or 4 years, but like
All
it
right,
just
if you want to
happened.
speed up, come to Melanie.
It happened faster because I was like, yes, yes, yes. Everything just felt right. So,
Thank you for that, sis. Thank you for having me.
oh, of course. I can't wait to see you next time. Next time I see you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.